Hey, what's up guys, welcome to a new video. Today we are going to be retouching this image of Nesser, and this is not going to be like a full retouching video where I'll break down everything, but I just want to show you guys two major things in this retouching tutorial. The first one is, how do you clean up a background? By the way, my PC is extremely slow today. Why? I don't know, but yeah. But how do you clean up a background like this, right? And to give you perspective, right, I'm just going to put this in a group. This is what the background looks like. Now, what I just did is not the total cleanup. We still have quite a lot to do, but you know, how do you clean up a background like this and still keep, you know, most of these shadows here? Because if you look at a lot of presets that are sold, they're just like one touch solutions and they kind of like just merge everything together. But how do you make something like this work, right, and still smoothing out all this part like this on the left and you know, all that stuff, right? And it's pretty simple. The easiest way to go about this, now it's not going to be an extremely easy solution because like I said, depends on what you're doing. If it was just a white backdrop or a plain, you know, like color backdrop, then it's going to be pretty easy to do. But in a situation like this, you have to be a little bit more careful. Now, to give you guys context, this whole image that you're seeing here was shot on a cyc, and cycs are built with wood, and they crack, they break, you know, you paint over places over and over again, and you start seeing things like, you know, this right here. So the question is, how do you fix all this and make it smooth and make it look, you know, decent, right? Enough for you to continue working on the image. So to start with an image like this, what I'll do is duplicate it. Now, I'm not going to do everything. I'll show you guys the steps and show you the results of those steps. And then, you know, like the first thing I want to do is probably just create like something like this, just a selection here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to generative fill. Now, content aware doesn't work great in a situation like this, but generative fill works great. Now, you don't have to select all this part. You can just, you know, like be more precise and use the lasso tool. But I feel like this works for me. So that's going to fill up all the spaces, right? So you already have that. What I typically do is create another stamp visible layer. So we'll have all this ready, right? The next thing you want to do in a situation like this is go inside and actually manually clean the background. Because if you kind of like add blur or anything in this situation that we're in, it's going to kind of like just mix everything together, and you don't want that. You know, you want to be able to like reduce the amount of work that the blur is doing, and that way the blur is going to do better. So we're going to be using the patch tool to patch all these places. So you're just going to use the patch tool. You can hold shift down and make a few selections, you know, just like this, and you can see with the patch tool, you can see how easy it is that we've taken out most of these things here. Same thing here with the patch tool, and we'll just take out all of this. Now, if you look at this, I mean, like, it's for social media, so it's fine, but with generative fill, as you guys can tell, it's not doing a great job. It doesn't give you the highest resolution fill, but hey, pretty sure it's the easiest way to go about this. But yeah, so the same with this, you know, all I'm doing is just selecting it and then just moving it with the patch tool. So the patch tool is probably the easiest way to get this done, right? Okay, so now we are done. Let's say we're done using the patch tool. You can see this right here. I'm just going to switch to the patch tool, and I'll show you guys here again, right here with the patch tool. See, it's just very easy to do. Okay, let's say we are done with our patch tool now. So I'm just going to delete all of this that I've done. I'm going to this folder where I've worked on stuff. So now we're done with the patch tool. See, with the patch tool, we fixed all of these. Like you guys can see, we fixed all of this. What I'm going to do right now is create another duplicate. So I'm going to duplicate that, and what I'll do is I'll go to filter, I'll go to median. What we're going to do is go to, where's that, noise and median. The reason why I'm using median is that it's not going to just merge everything together. You know, you still be able to see the lines, and I want that. You know, what I'm trying to do right now is smoothing out the texture of the background. I want everything to be nice and smooth, you know. But the trick to using median is, you can see right here around the chair here, we have, you know, the shadows merged together. If I show you that, you can see the shadows are kind of like merged together here. So the trick we use in median in this situation is to create a layer mask, invert your layer mask, pick a brush. Now, with your median though, you have to be very careful. You need to figure out like the best radius for your image. I think I used about 50 something in this image, but your image might not be this high resolution. The focal length that you used to shoot it might be different. So you just have to pick what works for you. So you just, move around and pick what works for you. So what I'm going to do with my median is just paint. But the thing about this is that I'm using a brush with a flow of 14. So I'm just painting around. Like I said, what I'm trying to do is, if you look at the floor, I don't like these textures that are here. They just don't seem great. So what I'm doing is that I'm just painting those textures out, just painting a lot of those textures out. You can see it maintains that line for me. And that's what I want. I don't want any of these textures, but I want to be able to see most of my lines, Then when I get in here, right, if I need to work in all these places, since my flow is 14, it does not mess. The flow I'm using is 14, right, for my brush. It doesn't mess too much with the shadows, because I still want those lines kept, I still want those lines kept. I want textures blended together, want everything looking nice and smooth, like a seamless backdrop would, right? But the thing is that I'm still just, by the way, I'm doing this as fast as possible, so because I don't want to waste time. But left to me, if I like the previous time I worked on this, I was a lot slower than this, right? So the texture that is here just seems like grime and dirt, and you don't want that, you don't want any of that in your image. So you can go in here and fix that up a little bit more, like if you want. Oh, that's messed up. But if I want to work on this, then I'll probably just go in and just use like a mixer brush to like work on that part itself, maybe an duplicate. But let's say, okay, we've done all this, we're as close as possible to what we have here. The major difference is, if I turn this on, you can see that now we have texture with this one, we have a different type of texture. And what you have to do to get that texture, with this one, I'm just going to delete what I've done here. With this, can also come in here and just, get closer to her body just a little bit more, The major difference now is that there's texture here. And what I did to add that texture was that I went to filter. Why is my Wacom failing on me? So with this particular image here, what I did was that I went to filter and my bad. Sorry, guys. I went to filter and then I went to camera raw. And in my camera raw, what I did was that I added some grain to it. So, you just add any grain of any size, depending on what your image is again, let's take this to 100. So when you add grain to it, you have some texture on your background. So that's what I did, right? Yes. Okay, so now that we are done with this, we've cleaned the background to a certain extent. We still have quite, it's not smooth. You want it to be seamless. You want it to be smooth. And that's why, typically I'll use my Pro Retouching pack. By the way, if you haven't checked that out, check it out, for retouching. But in this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something different. I'm going to use my frequency separation, the median. And for this image, just going to come to our face here, look at what our face looks like, and I'll probably use a radius of about 5, because I'm looking at the skin, I just want the blemishes gone just a little bit, I don't know why people use extremely high radiuses for, as you guys can see, if we look around here, you can still see the texture for their frequency separation when they're retouching a full image, right? So now that I've done that, right? What I'm going to do now is I'll come to here, my low layer, and pick my lasso tool. And what I want to do is just select the areas that I want to smoothen out. So somewhere around here, I'm going to avoid touching her, go over her body, just like this, go over the chair, all these places like this. Then I'll come all the way. Oh, I messed that up. Let me do that again. I'm just going to go like this, avoid her body, then just go over her. Just make sure you're not touching her body, the chair, this, all the way here, all the way to the end, all the way down here, and all the way here. So these areas, I want to make sure that they're smoothing out, right? So what I'm going to do is Command J, and then I'm going to go to my blur, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'll probably use a radius of, let me just say, somewhere around 100, right? And click OK. So you guys can see it's smoothing out the backdrop a lot more now. Look at that. Look at the before, look at the after. Now, I can also still decide to come in here with my mixer brush tool. Just pick my mixer brush tool. I know this is pretty hard, but it is just what it is, you know. I can just come here with my mixer brush tool. My bad that I picked the color. Shouldn't have any color in it. And just smoothing out this place just a bit more, just like this, right? And we have a pretty nice smooth background. I know you can see it's touching her legs, so what we're going to do is create a layer mask. And all this is pretty easy to do once you know how to do it. You know, like it'll probably take me like 3-4 minutes to get this done. 5 minutes tops, you know, because, you know, we're not retouching skin. Just come here with a black brush and kind of like just paint this away from her body and the chair and everything. And we have a pretty decent and smooth background compared to where we're coming from. So let's look at that before and after. So I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can see for yourself. Look at before, look at the after. Look at before, look at after. Now, I can see it's kind of like, you know, it's a little bit, you know, I would say, what's the word I want to use, but the blur is getting in here. I can always just clean that out, you know, from here, just clean that out so that the blur doesn't get in there too much. And the same with here too, so we still have that shadow. But check this out, compared to where we're coming from. Let's look at that before, after. Before, after. I can still see a little bit of this on our body. I'm just going to take that out. Before, after. Look at how far before, after. Look how far we've come. Get this out of our toes. I don't know if I made a mistake there, but hey, we can always fix that by creating a stamp visible layer when we're done. But yeah, so that's it. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is a very simple one. Right here above the texture, what we can do, what we're going to do is create a black and white layer. And I know you're wondering why we're creating a black and white layer. If you've ever had any issues with blending skin with the mixer brush tool, you know, you want to see where you're supposed to be working on, what you're supposed to be doing, this gives you a pretty good example of how smooth the skin is. So you take your reds down, take your yellows up, and as you can see how the skin is. Right, and right now you can go back to your low layer, pick your mixer brush tool. I know it's a little bit complicated, but walk with me here, right? And then you can then just smoothen out the skin. Now, she doesn't need a lot of work done. I know the thing is that this exaggerates it, so you don't want to do it till it's super smooth. You know, you just want to be careful with that because this layer would exaggerate everything and make it seem like, oh my god, there's so much you need to do. So you just have to be careful with that. So you guys can see I'm still leaving some of those I don't even know what to call them, but I know you guys get what I'm saying. But this is how easy it is to retouch skin with the mixer brush tool, right? You don't have to do it using this black and white, I'll call it a check layer, for the whole retouching, but it just gives you like a good idea of what you're supposed to do, right? And now I'm going to turn off the black and white layer and show you guys the before and after. You guys can see that before, after, you know, very easy to use. Now with her face here, right, even though I've used a little bit of the mixer brush tool, what I like doing with faces is that I like using micro dodge and burn to like just fix some things. By the way, we haven't actually removed any blemishes, so put that at the back of your mind. You need a clone stamp tool to do that. Make sure flow is 100, opacity is 100, and you're working on your current layer. So we're just going to go in there and just take out any of these blemishes. It's not like she has a lot to take out, but we'll just take out some of these. Got a smile line here, take that out. And yeah, that's about it. Like I said, it's not like there's a lot to take out, right? Great. So one other thing that I'll do in a situation like this is I'll run my complete dodge and burn. The reason why I'm doing that is with the face, I like to work with micro dodge and burn. So I'll just come down to micro dodge and burn, pick a normal brush, take my flow to anywhere between 1 and 3. Make sure that my foreground color is white. And what I want to do is this area right here, just want to burn some of these areas right here. And then I'm just going to dodge underneath her eye so that, you know, it's just a bit brighter. So you guys can see that shadow that's there. Trying to make sure that I take that shadow out. And that's about it. Like, instead of using the mixer brush to do that, I like doing that with the dodge and burn. And yeah, I don't think there is quite a lot more to do with this image than to just do maybe like global dodge and burn. So we have our global dodge and burn here. So dodge, that's still on 2. Remember, you want the skin to shine. The face right here. With images like this, you don't want to do too much retouching on them, you know, because they already look good, right? And then just do a little burn. I don't want her skin to look too tanned, so I just do a little bit of burn. You know, this is just to add some shape. And that's it. I don't know, like it's pretty simple. Like I said, you know, we're not doing too much skin retouching, too much of anything, you know, like we just had to fix the background and a few of, you know, all those things. I might just dodge the top here just to reduce that, the dark edges. I think I did a little bit too much there. Yeah, you know, but that's about it, you know. Throw in a skin tone lot, you know. Color lookup, probably throw in my 6. That's what I've been using. Reduce the opacity to about, I don't know, 80. And we're good. You guys, I already did a lighting breakdown for this. If you want to check it out, link will be in description. I'll put a card up there. I have my free eyes and teeth whitening action, by the way, too. I'm probably going to run that. Just get my eyes a little bit brighter. But yeah, check out the lighting breakdown video where you can see exactly how I lit this image. And this is just like a quick retouching overview for anybody that has maybe a psych or has a backdrop that is really dirty, and you know, they're figuring out like ways to make you look decent without looking just, I don't know, fake, I guess. But yeah, this is a pretty easy way to do it. So anyways, show you guys the before and after one more time. Have it zoomed in as much as possible. So let's see our before and after. Before again and after. Yeah, I think we did a pretty decent job. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. Please like, subscribe. Peace out, guys.